What would you do in life if you didn't have to earn money? The day I found the answer to this question was the day when I quit from my corporate job in one of the biggest media companies in India. But from that day, I knew I had to do everything related to one thing that was really close to my heart, which was music. Now, like any other youngster, I also started off taking a very safe, secured path towards success. Engineering, followed by MBA, followed by a job. But my music started way long back when I was in school, when my brother first got the guitar at home. It was like love at first sight. So I practiced and I started performing with a lot of bands during my engineering. Now, I also started giving music lessons just to add on to my pocket money, and I realized that I really enjoyed sharing music as well. But I assured my parents and myself that these performances and music shows will come to an end, because once I finish my engineering, I'm going to pursue something which I always wanted, and I would take up a corporate job. So by the time I finished my engineering, I was giving music lessons. And then I got lured up into a corporate job as well. Now, the corporate job, once I started going into a corporate job, my life became very complex. Imagine a chemical engineering graduate working in a media company, aspiring to do MBA, also a musician and a music educator. I was frustrated. A corporate job meant I had to reach the office at 9:30, and all my music lessons and my music shows had to be shifted to weekends. I didn't get time to perform music, nor did I get time to play my own music. My music classes, which were the only thing that kept me going, were shifted to weekends. Now, I realized that I have to find a solution to this problem where I could spend more time to what I actually want to do. So that's when the idea of a music school started. Now, a music school for a corporate person actually meant that I would get more number of students. But that also meant that I was expecting more than 100 students to leave the comfort of door-to-door home lessons or home tuitions to come and travel to the music school. What if they don't join? And what if they choose for some other music teacher? I was frustrated anyway, so I thought, let me just go ahead and open my music school. So I announced the launch of my music school. And guess what happened on the first day? What was the outcome? Only 4 students joined. That was the first time in my life I tasted failure. I was scared. Should I just go back to my previous arrangement of home lessons? Should I just continue with my corporate job and forget about music lessons as I had planned earlier? Were all those people right when they told me that, Viresh, it would not work? Because all the students had a valid reason. For some, traveling was an issue. For some, timings didn't match. For some parents, it was about individual lessons and individual attention. So all the reasons were valid, but it just didn't work. But all I wanted to do was something related to music. And I realized that if I had something in me, and I knew that if I would stand by my decision of the music school, I would succeed eventually. So I went ahead and I spoke to all the parents and told them that this is what I'm planning to do for you guys. And this is what a music school is all about, and showed them my true vision about what I was planning to do. And within a span of 3 months, every student joined back. And we went on opening many more centers within a short span of a year, and soon became one of the biggest music schools in Mumbai. Now, was that decision right when I thought of opening a music school? I did open it in a haste, but I stood by that decision, and I realized that sometimes all you need to do is just give time, and eventually it works out. So yes, now the music school was set. We were the biggest music school. And I thought, OK, I will just climb up the corporate ladder and run the music school. My parents were really happy because they thought, whoa, he's got an additional source of income, and he's also doing a corporate job. So I moved ahead, and I started doing the job, music lessons on weekends, music school on weekends, focusing on two things. That's when I realized that most of my conversations with my friends or with my colleagues revolved totally around music. It was nothing. It was about music gear, new product launches. All I could speak was about music. So that's when one of the friends suggested, Viresh, why don't you go ahead and open a music store? Now, opening a musical instrument store for a chemical engineering grad with no experience or degrees in business seemed to be like an impossible task. But now, since it was related to music, I thought, let me just start doing my research. So I started doing my research. I contacted manufacturing companies and the distributors. And I realized that opening an online store with minimum number of products was the only solution. And maybe gradually I could scale up. So I thought, maybe why not just give it a try? So I opened an online store. So now, when I opened an online store with limited number of products, I realized that I have to have physical presence so that I could interact with the audience. So I thought, let's just go ahead and open a retail store. So that's when I opened my first musical instrument retail store. And soon I realized that, yes, it's working. And I gradually increased and went on opening one more retail store, then another, and I just kept going. Now I realized that if I had not taken that decision of opening a music store, I would have never been able to explore this field. And we went, and today when I look back, I feel proud that I took that decision, and we went on crossing a turnover of more than 10 million in the first year itself. Now, what I understood after this is you have to be spontaneous sometimes. You cannot do calculated decisions. There were 10,000 things that came against me opening a store. There were 10 people telling me that, no, Viresh, it wouldn't work. It's too much of investment. There is inventory to be maintained. There are salaries to the employees. But I said, you know what, let's give it a try. And it did work out for me. Now, so it was all about being spontaneous. Now, then came the next big decision when I had to leave my corporate job and be a full-time entrepreneur. Now, being a full-time entrepreneur meant I had my doors open for many more opportunities to come forward. So I went on performing with my bands. I got to be on a part of Trinity College London team. I went on giving workshops with them. Now, was this all very simple for me? Definitely not. I was a victim of confusion, distraction, frustration, fear. But let me assure you guys, all these are a part of every decision-making process. And I overcame them to walk towards my destination. Don't let your struggle become your identity, because you can achieve so much more than what you think you can. Thank you.